Despite criticism for both its foreign policy and its handling of domestic affairs, India has decided to deal with this criticism constructively and make changes in areas that were not even addressed and touched before. One such example is the abrogation of Articles 370 and 35A. It has placed the people of Jammu and Kashmir within the jurisdiction of equitable laws and offered opportunities for development. And overall, India has altered its diplomatic stance in a number of ways. It has reset its country's relations with the West, especially the US, in a bid to counter China's growing influence in Asia. India has also taken a more aggressive stance toward Pakistan's alleged terrorism backing, and has increased engagement with partners in East and Southeast Asia, also forged stronger alliances with countries in the Middle East, and gave an equal importance to economic relations and security interests. Experts believe that India can connect the West and Russia. It can play a greater role in that. The Samarkand bilateral was the first in-person meeting between PM Modi and the Russian president since the invasion of Ukraine. On the sidelines of the SCO summit, PM Modi said, "Today's era isn't of war," while emphasizing the need to find ways to address the problems of food, fuel security and fertilizers. And in response, Putin said he understood India's concerns about the war in Ukraine. It highlights India's relationship with Russia and how India can unite the West and Russia. At 75, India has matured into a prominent global player, with international expectations of its choices, actions, and dynamic development. Modi's statement during the meeting became significant, and the US media praised Modi for telling Putin that now is not the time for war in Ukraine. Indian experts emphasized the significance of the United States and France's comments on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's message to Russia. They emphasized how important India's voice has become in the world today, and providing the West with a clear understanding of India's role in the ever-changing geopolitical world. This has been India's long-standing policy, which PM Modi repeated in the SCO summit, while the West was racing to surround Russia at the start of the Ukraine conflict, and PM Modi persuaded Putin that Russia should find another way to handle the problem. Kashmiri Pandits said, "India has continuously advocated for a political solution to this conflict, rather than military, as a method of obtaining any settlement, since it will not." He stated that, "I believe, has been well recognized, as you may have heard from Putin himself, that he understands India's worries. The West has always assumed that India is not doing enough, or that it is not telling Russia what to do. Probably they now realize that India has officially and privately advised Russia that war is not the answer to these problems." Another expert considers India to be a significant voice in the globe today, stating that India has always pushed for peaceful discourse as the best way forward. Former Deputy National Security Advisor, Pankaj Saran said, "These statements highlight how crucial India's voice is. Modi's opinions are respected, and India has encouraged discussion and diplomacy and not military." Countries that responded to Modi's comment to Putin. UK Foreign Secretary James Cleverly said, "Prime Minister Narendra Modi has a powerful, influential voice on the international stage. And the Russian leadership appreciates India's stance," adding that London hopes President Vladimir Putin listens to those pushing for peace in the Ukraine war. French President Emmanuel Macron and US Nationwide Safety Advisor Jake Sullivan on Tuesday welcomed PM Modi's commentary to Putin on Ukraine. Macron, who shares a close personal relationship with PM Modi, stated at the UN General Assembly that Narendra Modi was correct to say, "This was not the era of war." He said, "It is not for revenge against the West, or for opposing the West against the East. It is time for our sovereign equal states to cope together with challenges we face." Jake Sullivan, in a White House statement said, "I think what Prime Minister Modi said, a statement of principle on behalf of what he believes is right and just, was very much welcomed by the United States, and for the Indian leadership, which has long-standing relationships in Moscow, from the very top all the way through the Russian government, to continue to reinforce that message, that now is the time for the war to end."